Now there's a reason that knockoff is in quotations in the title of this video, because this is the Yikun Discs twin swords in their tortoise fruit plastic, I think is what they call it. Makes sense. I mean, it looks like a watermelon turtle, but this disc, you'd think, is the knockoff Time-Lapse. Chinese company, Chinese disc. Sometimes in America or in the West, a lot of times we'll think knockoff. Not necessarily always the case, because this disc, the Time-Lapse, came out last year. This is the stock run. I also have the Fission Run Time-Lapse, which is the main one that we're going to be throwing today, because honestly, it's so much more fun than the Neutron one. This one's a little bit of a beefcake. Here, I'll show you real fast. It's fine, but it's supposed to have a little bit of turn. But this Fission guy, it's so fun. But the Time-Lapse came out last year. This disc, the Yikun Twin Swords, came out in 2018. And it's not actually the first overmolded disc. From what I understand, overmold, where there's a core, and then outside of it, there's another plastic that in MVP's case, they talk about gyroscopic stability, where you push more weight to the outside. They call it gyro. It's supposed to make the disc spin easier and stay in the air longer and potentially go farther. This seems like it might just be for looks, because honestly, the plastic, we'll get to talking about how this feels and flies. Gateway came out with stuff in the early 2000s. There was some Latitude 64 overmold in 2017, but I believe this is the only like 12 speed from those that I can at least readily get my hands on. Shout out to my buddy Josh. So today we're going to be putting the new Fission Time-Lapse up against not quite the knockoff, but the OG 12 speed that has this overmold technology. It's definitely different. I'll show you how in a second. But if this disc can beat the Time-Lapse over 12 holes, because they are at 12 speed, I'm going to be giving a proto Time-Lapse away. I didn't bring it because I'm a hack and a fraud, but there's a picture right here. This is, boom, look at that, proto Time-Lapse coming right out of my hand. This disc was given to me a while back, and I have not gotten out to throw it yet, even though I think it's going to be but in between stability. Actually, it might be similar to the Time-Lapse. They don't look too far off. First, we're gonna throw a nice backhand, and then we'll try to get to the next basket on a forehand. And then for the last 10, we'll flip. Heads will be orange basket, tails will be green. We'll give the Time-Lapse the box since I've thrown this recently, and I know how it flies. At least I should. Oh, I guess I forgot how flippy it was. I didn't throw that hard enough for it to flip that much. Come on. Wow, that thing goes far. I have never thrown this disc before. This will be my first ever throw. So hopefully I can see how it flies or understand based on the feel. And I think it's gonna be a touch more overstable than that. So I'm gonna try to throw the same shot. But this one I think will be under the basket. Oh, still pushy. A little more overstable though. Wow, it is right in between those two. I mean, nice, easy shot to the edge of the circle. Money. If you're new to disc golf or you just don't follow disc releases all that closely, the Time-Lapse kind of was a little bit of a major disappointment when it came out, even though it completely sold out, was very popular. I mean, it's Simon Lizott's disc. He's the most popular man in all of disc golf. It was slated to be the first 12 speed that MVP ever made, and Simon and MVP had talked about it as if it was a disc that they wanted everybody to be able to throw, kind of in that destroyer slot. 12.5, -1.3, get a little turn, get a lot of fade, be a very consistent, controllable driver. When the Proto Run came out, which is the disc that's on the line right now, if I win with the twin swords, no one dropped. It was a beefcake, and there wasn't that much dome because Simon wanted a domey driver, and MVP doesn't really make a lot of stuff that has dome because it messes with the process and makes discs slightly more inconsistent, but they obliged, and after the Proto Run, these babies dropped, which, as you can see, have noticeably more dome, but even these Neutron ones, they were so beefy, kind of flying more like a 12.403. Because of how they add the dome to the disc, the shoulder here is very high, so it feels a little bigger in your hands. For someone who's got baby hands like me, it's a little harder to grip onto. Releases were just a little more inconsistent, and a lot of people who really wanted to love these discs, who could get away with throwing a lot of other 12-speed discs in this category, didn't have the best time with these. Myself included. I was a little disappointed, not gonna lie. But then these guys dropped this last month, the Fission Time-Lapse, and they finally got it right. These are a little lighter. This one's 167, that one's 173, and that one is as well. But these have that flip to them. Most people can throw some sort of Fission Time-Lapse, whether it's the 160 class, the 150 class, and get it to get that pop up and ride like they want. So a lot of people like these discs, myself included. This is a great disc. Ooh. Now, I honestly haven't looked up how long MVP has had their patent on overmold technology, but I'm pretty sure it's a patented process. That means that other companies can't produce discs that have the same technology or the same way that they do it. But that doesn't mean you can't still have an overmold. You can't really patent a concept, you can patent a process, and these aren't really overmolded the same ways as the Time-Lapses are. Oof. was honestly pretty stoked on the flight that we just had with this Twin Swords, but let's take a look at the technology here, because with this disc from MVP, there's kind of a core, and if you look at MVP's diagrams, I'll actually post some of these online a little bit. I don't know exactly how it's bonded, but it's bonded, and they don't ever seem to have a problem splitting. These, I don't know about, I don't know if many people throw them, but you can also see a major difference, because on the bottom side of this, it's just a ring all the way around, whereas here, if you look at the top, it's overmolded a little differently. And honestly, it seems like there's a lot of extra connective points, some of the normal core right there, and then on the bottom, you have these little dots where there seems to be injected points. And from what I understand, the ways that these can work is you have a machine. I actually went to Trash Banda. This video will be coming out here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, what's up?
He was telling me that the way that these discs are made is you probably have a multi-part mold and then 2 different injectors of plastic. One will inject the core, and then right after it, the next part will inject. I don't know what the cooling process looks like, what any of it looks like, but these are definitely slightly differently overmolded, so doesn't seem to be any patent infringement there. But the feel of this disc is not the best. It is very round on the bottom and also relatively shallow in the hand. The dome, very, very pop top, which I don't actually hate. But as you can see, it's a little bit more shallow. That's where kind of my fingers go in. Than the Time-Lapse. The Time-Lapse, definitely not quite as round on the bottom, still feels really comfortable to throw. And the Time-Lapse feels a little bigger in your hand, but especially in this fission plastic, which is very grippy, feels like you can get a hold of it a little bit easier than this pretty slick tortoise fruit plastic. I think that's what it's called. I looked it up on Infinite. Flight number is also 12502, 125-13, but I think this is a little more overstable than this one, even though the Neutron has the same flight numbers and is way more overstable than this guy. I'll throw the Neutron first on the forehand just to set the baseline. Oh, look at that wobble. A nice little duck flying out of the hand. That Time-Lapse just does not go crazy far. I honestly don't know if any MVP pros even throw those Time-Lapses. Twin Swords, because we threw Time-Lapse first and none of them have birdied yet. The forehand feels less comfortable here. It feels more like it's gonna slip out of your hand because it's a little slicker and a little shallower. Same exact shot there, but less wobble. I think we get to the basket. Come out of it. Skip. Ah, that would have been close, but there's some tall grass. That same shot, just a little righter, is really good. And I think this can actually handle a decent little flat forehand here. No, so flippy. Ah! Well, I could have reached it if I didn't stink. One of the things that is still just so interesting about these discs is I know the Twin Swords has been around for like 6 more years, but it does feel like a knockoff Time-Lapse. Maybe that's just my bad associations, or just the fact that the Time-Lapse is so popular and the other one is so underrated and unknown. But it was around way before. I don't think the Time-Lapse is based on it at all. Maybe MVP looked at it in their design process, because they're not super dissimilar. Even the wing shape, very similar, and I'll show you that after this. But hopefully we can drain one of these super long ones. Oh, I almost got out into the short grass. Dang, would have got the nice skip. Ooh, not bad at all. Pretty much right at pin high. Nice. Should be a couple more pars. Now we flip for the holes. I think I will, oh wait, this is the only course around this has no safari holes. I was gonna create some cool safari holes, and I can't. Especially with the camera, you gotta obey the rules. I would anyways, but especially with the camera. All right, we're either going 232, straight up there, little ace run, try not to go OB, or 452, a little more appropriate for these discs. And I believe that I said heads is orange, tails is green. We'll flip the Neutron guy. Tails green. Ace run, let's go. More similar than I thought they'd be. And the hand feel isn't like actually atrociously worse, it's just a little shallower. So if these are too deep for you, I think these are like really cheap and they kind of are similar. But I mean, you got the status of the Time-Lapse versus Yukon stuff. I mean, I don't hate it. I think one of the best things about disc golf is everyone's so individual, and it's kind of like the hippie sport where everyone likes to be a little different. I like to be a little different, so I resonate with that. We'll go standstill, because I'm so different, you know? I just gotta go standstill. Not like other guys, except for Blitz. Wow, it's so straight, even on a standstill. I thought that would fade closer. Wow, that is such a good disc for like just everybody's arm. It's just a little flippier than like I would probably bag, but it's just such a good disc for like everybody's arm. That's so cool. A little more fade. Oh, let's go. If you have any more of these like weirdo little discs that you guys want me to review, these are some of my favorite videos to do just because they're just so unique. And like, I mean, this one's not, but it seems like different and unique, even though it's very similar to the Time-Lapse. And it really is like a step right in the middle of the Fission and the Neutron, which is so cool. Oh, I thought I missed that left side. All right, hold on. These little green painted chains, I kind of love them. feel like they catch pretty decent. Greg, the twin sword's kind of money, dude. All right, I have to test my theory of if the twin swords is better because I'm throwing it second or if it's better because it's better. But 226 or 291. Okay, this isn't a fraud flipper. This one landed on heads and it landed on tails last time, so we won't have one that's just landing on the same one every time. We're going to orange up there. We do have a little headwind. I would throw a forehand, but up a hill, not a good idea. Just kind of flat to Anheuser up there. See how it gets stable, because that's really where you'll see the differences. Jeez, that thing is nice. And it's a little short. I think this will turn a lot more than that, so I'm gonna throw it closer to the basket on the same line. Yeah, so drifty. Go in. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, parked. These discs are so good. And then the silly little neutron guy that everybody throws because it's so good. Why is that landing in the same spot as the twin swords? Oh, it's actually closer. But that was so much more Anheuser. These other two are so much better than that one. All right, we got a little triple park job over here. Time lapse. Twin swords. Dang it. Still counts. I really think, so far, I've thrown this a little more. I think it goes in terms of stability, then the twin swords, and then closer to the twin swords than the twin swords is to the neutron time lapse is the fission. But we'll see. Through 4 holes, 2 down a piece, and then we got a good old flipper, because that's what this disc is. I'm just kidding, it's a fine disc. I just don't like it as much as these two. This next hole, we're either going, you probably can't see that, but there's someone stole a T sign, so it's not there. Orange or green, and I'm gonna say it's landing on orange. Oh, I was right, let's go. We'll keep the order, we'll keep throwing the twin swords first until there's a box change. I honestly think I kinda wanna throw a forehand, but that's fading towards the creek. So we'll throw a little backhand instead. A little headwind. We're just gonna actually put these ones on a hyzer line because I do wanna see how they fly on a long pushing hyzer. I think it's about 415 down there. Pop up a little bit. Oh, it's just glidey straight. Ooh. Oh, I scared a bunny. Yeah, that thing is, I honestly thought it was gonna get more stable, but it's super straight. They call it 12.502. I'd probably give it 12.5 -1.2. And if I give that, then I'd give this maybe 12.6 -1.52. I don't know. This will be a little flippier though. So a lot more flip up and glide. Yeah, I think I'm pretty on with those numbers. I think those are pretty accurate. And now the neutron guy. Pretty good. That was so sick. That was such a cool shot. He's went a little long. Buckets. No, buckets too. Let's go. All right, we skipped up to hole 12, 164, straight ahead. There's another one. It's like over there. It's a bad hole, so we're not playing it. We're just playing the one that's here. I don't even know why that one is there. See if we can get a forehand ace run. Stand still, because I'm different, you know? I got throw standstills. I'm just so different like that. Too much. Maybe? Oh, oh, this one, same shot, just aiming at the basket. Come on. Oh, it does. Oh, doesn't have enough fade. I like that fission time lapse when I played with it in that video. I like it even more now. It's so fun. I'm gonna check an infinite real quick pricing on these two because I honestly think they're not too far apart. I believe the fission time lapse is only like 16 to 18 bucks. So neutrons right now are going for like 18 bucks. Oh, fissions are sold out, but right now the neutrons are like 16 to 18 dollars if you want like a regular or a misprint. But honestly, personally, I'd wait till fissions are restocked. But the twin swords, $16.95, so pretty sweet. No straddle guy. Okay, well, I didn't think this through, I guess. Over the top. Oh, shanking your straddle putts to the right. Kind of my MO, let's be honest. I'll clean it up before I compete again. Don't worry, we either have 165 feet straight ahead with the tails or 245 up the hill with the heads. Tails, ace time. Oh, so boring, I parked it. Oh my gosh, I'm so boring. Triple boring inside the circle. I'll be real, flight-wise, I would bag the twin swords over the time lapses, just because it's a little more stable. I think for most people, they prefer the time lapse, the fission specifically. But I just really like the twin swords not overstable It is glidey. Oh, it's a little short. Not short enough to not be parked, but the Efficient Time-Lapse is just a little bit too unpredictably glidey, I think, when I throw it a little hard. But I do think it's the most fun disc here by far, and the best feeling. 255 down the hill, nothing to flip for, because there's only one position on this guy. Counter skip towards the basket. Yup. That's why you throw the neutral disc thrown at the hillside. So when it hits the hillside, it's not going to skip up the hillside because it's not overstable enough. It's going to go straight. Now for the Time-Lapse. Look at that. Counter skip to the bucket. Game plan executed. See, this one's going to fly a little different when it hits the hillside. It's too overstable. We're done. 4 holes to go. There's got to be some separation. Good news for me is a tie goes to me. I'm not the runner, but tie goes to me. That being said, 337 to the orange, or 300 to the green. Orange it is. Like it's another forehand down there. Really good forehand disc for me, because I am a weak little forehand guy. Uh-oh. Skip. Oh, no skip. These are really good forehand discs for me. Holy cow. There it is. Make sure no cars are coming for this craziness. Ah, shorty. Got the kindest, probably slightly inebriated people ever at the top of that hole, so great vibes rolling through. These on my forehand is really nice. It's making me think I should probably put a forehand disc in my bag that is not an Emperor, because I'm like really liking forehanding something like these because it's so smooth for me, and because my forehand isn't like nearly as powerful as my backhand right now, and hopefully eventually it'll be close, but I maybe shouldn't be throwing the same discs. So I might have to add something to the bag for my forehands, and I really like the Frisbee Club reach, so I might have to do that. Oh, this did kind of get through. I think I might work at finding a good forehand driver for myself, since right now I'm such a backhand guy. All right, we need this. Yep. Also just realized, at hole 16, which is our like 9th or 10th hole, I never really showed you the profiles of these guys against one another. And they're pretty similar. Like to the point that my comment about, oh, they probably didn't look at each other like when they were designing the time-lapse. I'm sure it wasn't, and they're all just similar to 12 speeds, but this disc came out a long time before the time-lapse, and the profiles look very, very, very similar. There's a little more flatness at the bottom of this bevel, I'm now realizing. But I mean, 12 speeds look alike, but they look pretty freaking similar. Heads, orange, good. I wanted to play that. It's about 404 down there. We're gonna throw as flat a shot as I think I can get there with. So, oh no, I shanked it. Oh no. That is the biggest thing I was worried about with that disc specifically, because of the thinness in the rim. It does feel like it'll slip out of your hands a little more. And like these, I mean, they're definitely different. It's just that the overall part looks pretty similar, but this one's like a lot deeper and feels better on the rim side. Dang it. That one I felt, as I was ripping through, I felt it slipping out of my hands. And I probably could have and should have gripped it better, but it's got that little bit of a profile that makes it harder to grip. Time-Lapse has a big opportunity here. Hides to flip right at it. That disc is so money. That disc is so money. Time-Lapse. Go in. Oh, baby, come on. I hope you can see there's a foot thing there. I just tripped real bad. Don't know how much closer that could have gotten to going over the edge. Big old cliff here. We're gonna throw this in, and the Time-Lapse isn't even gonna get a stroke. Ah, not committed enough. It's not looking good for the giveaway, but it is looking good for me and not having to pay some shipping. And the next hole is a no flipper as well. This guy's a 730-foot par 4. It's our second to last hole, so I just need to birdie with the time-lapse. Game over. We're gonna play backhand, forehand. You have to throw a backhand on the first shot. We do have a slight tailwind. There's OB left on the path. So you see that green basket out there? You wanna fly that basket on turn, and I'm calling forehand standstill. So we gotta get a big ol' rip out there, because it's 734 feet. I don't know if I have more than 300 in me on a standstill, so we're gonna have to get like 450. Pan. It started to. It got to flat. We'll see, we'll see. This one I think I can get a bigger rip in because it's not as flippy, so it's maybe a little more predictable. Don't slip. It really feels so shallow on all my back fingers. Like I'm honestly having a little bit of a hard time getting a really solid grip to try to throw it hard. Throwing it softer is a little easier. Yes. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna get to fade, but I at least saw it get to flat, so that's a win. Well, I'm about to have to put my all into this shot because I think we burned it over. I thought I saw it being on a little too much turn, and unfortunately, like always, I was right. 358. We are playing officially for a Circle 2 bid. High and hyzer. Trust your stuff, man. You got this. No way. Let's go. Believe in yourself, people. Really unfortunate news. I thought this was panning, and I think I turned it too hard into the hill. I think I had another lot of distance left. And now we're on a hillside. No, I didn't pan it hard enough. Good distance though. Unfortunately, advantage time lapse still. Brutal scenes. I'm gonna work on standstill some more, I guess. Gotta flip this one. We gotta drill it. Good distance. Oh, I waited so long too until I thought for sure it was in. Oh, that's embarrassing. Up the hill, inside the circle. This was a 330-foot standstill forehand up a hill. I'm pretty happy with that. I think a lot of that has to do with how good this disc is. Dang it. I thought I missed high for you. 2 strokes. It's gonna have to be the ace. You gotta respect the dogs that work hard. One last flip, I will say. I was really happily impressed with the twin swords. If the feel was slightly better, like, this is such a good disc. I will say, I was also pleasantly, again, reminded how good this Vision Time-Lapse is. What a fun and great release from MVP. I'm having too much fun with it today. I can't believe I birdied that hole after birding it into the ground and forced myself to throw a standstill forehand. This disc is just so good. Neutron, we don't need to talk about that one again, okay? We can just talk, we can stick to the good vibes, to the good times, to the positive memories, and to the mosquitoes biting the back of my leg. I am throwing the twin swords first, even though it doesn't have the box, and it's down by 2. We shot a pretty decent round with that time lapse today, honestly. With both of them. 5 and 7 through 11 holes. If we can ace with that twin swords, you still get it. Heads. Orange, 330, straight ahead. Nice little forehand, skip, chains, giveaway. You're welcome. Subscribe. Here it goes. Maybe no skip, just straight up. Oh, still parked. That's a great attempt. I'm pretty happy with that time lapse. Dude, that thing flies so well on my forehand. I know I've been working on my forehand a little bit, so it's been getting better. And I actually filmed the whole round. It was for Silly Saturday. Today's not Saturday, but it's for Silly Saturdays. I played lefty, and I think it really actually helped me with my forehand, with bracing and like throwing on this side. Too juicy. If I 3-putt, which I'm gonna try to make it, but like if I 3-putt, still a chance for the win. And now, of course, it's this time lapse, so you gotta throw the fun line. I think you can probably tell the reason why I never throw that. Also, my elbow felt a little weird. Not painful, just differently used, so I'll have to train that more. Living on the front side of the cage today. Not bad though, 6 down and 7 down. This guy's just been sitting on my shelf for a while. And then I was like, kind of seems like a knockoff time lapse. I know it's not, but I want to make a video about it. So I did a little searching. So here it is. You guys are the best. Let me know any other funky discs you want me to review. I'm gonna ace the short green basket for you. But there is one thing I didn't tell you about the ace. It's lefty. Psych. Bye-bye.